Morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Olson. I'll be filling in today for Commissioner Bell, who is not able to be with us today. Today is Tuesday, February 6, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our new call-in number is 1-971-254-3149. The conference ID is 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute his or her phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak. Again, pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you, and we will get started. We'll begin with the Commissioner's roll call. As I mentioned, Commissioner Bell is not available this morning. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, thank you. Two of us on duty this morning. So we'll go over to Adventist Health, but I understand that Eric is not available this morning. So unless there's someone to represent the hospital group, we'll skip over that and move on to our Coastal Caucus. And I do know Senator Weber is on. So Senator, please go right ahead. I know you're busy and the session has started. So go ahead.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you here just fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. It's nice being here. I'm in my office in Salem. Yesterday was the first day of session. It was an extremely busy day. We started about 7:30 and we ended about the same time at night. I can see from my monitor in my office that the hearing rooms are filling up. It was really interesting to see that, you know, usually when you're in that main hall in the Capitol, you know, the access is restricted right now. There usually aren't people there. But yesterday it was person to person. The hall was filled with people that were there to testify on various bills that are coming forward because this is a short session. Things need to be done rapidly. And so it was bing, bing, bing all day long. And it looks to me that today is going to be the same way. I've got a full day of appointments and committee meetings. Yesterday, the opening ceremony was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was very impressive. William Stafford, the former poet laureate of Oregon, was there to read two of his poems, and a Portland State award-winning choir performed, and Obadiah Rutledge sworn in as the Secretary of the Senate. He keeps things in order. And our former secretary retired, and so Obadiah, or Obi as he is called, is now the man in charge. Some of the things I did yesterday was I met with Rep. Chachi, who's from the Washington County area, to discuss an education bill. And it is the purpose of it is to study higher education as to what has happened in the last 10 years, to see what we need to do to make higher education more accessible, how funding is being used, and a variety of other issues. We were also in a Human Services Committee meeting, and 3 of the bills were brought forward, and one of them is to just have a little change in it, and that's the purpose of the short session, is budget and small changes. However, you know that that is not going to be the case in this short session when we have issues to deal with like 110 and housing, because the governor has her one housing bill, and we are already hearing a lot concerning it, and people are already deciding whether they like it or not. And so I'm hearing from both sides, and a lot of what they're saying is true, but a lot of what we're hearing and what is going forward really needs to be vetted, to be discussed, and to look at the long-term consequences of it. But all in all, it was a good and busy day. I got to testify on one bill on the family nurse program, which is extremely important because it guides young people, especially through pregnancy and the first 2 years of a child's birth, to give a young person or, someone to look to for guidance. You know, it always helps to have someone, a professional that knows what's happening in child development and child illnesses and things like that, to be able to guide someone through those first couple of years. Because, you know, none of those kids comes with a directions book. They're all an experiment. But there are people who can really help and add to that, to help, you know, guide our children along. Last week was really exciting in that I got to travel to Astoria to testify on the HCP. It was a very productive hearing. There were approximately 45 people who gave testimony, and I can say that no matter if you were for it or against it, you had passionate concerns, and people expressed them very eloquently as to how the HCP is going to affect their lives, either positively or negatively. And so we will see what happens with that. It's really going to be quite onerous if it does pass, as to how it affects our lives, especially our schools, our education, and our employment, because how it's going to impact the timber industry is huge. And so, you know, we've seen the benefit of having old growth trees, and we've also seen the drawbacks of having old growth trees, especially with the ice storm in Portland. And so there's a lot of things to be taken into consideration. My Highway 30 study bill is going forward. We had a meeting on that last week, and we are continuing to meet to gather testimony on that, and that'll be coming up to a committee next week. And of course, there was a slide on Highway 30 over the weekend, and so it's another item that needs to be addressed as to how we can keep our highways open, to be able to carry goods and services along it, get people to work, and keep them safe, just like it is on Highway 6. And so if we can keep those avenues open to the coast, I think that will be doing good things. I have a full day of appointments today. I've got a 2-hour training that is required on Rule 27, and I also have an education committee meeting today, which we will be going over all of the bills that were suggested by the committee, not the 2 bills that each was we were given to carry forward. So with that, I think I'm going to close, and I'm going to also say that I wish there were some way that we could get more people to listen to this program. I had someone say to me on Saturday, you know, there's never anything on the radio about what we're doing up and down the coast. And I got to say to that person, yes, there is. Every Tuesday morning, turn your radio on. You'll hear everything that's going on, all up and down Tillamook County. And so that's my hopes for the week and for the day, and I want to thank you very much for allowing me to do this and providing this for our county.
Well, thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator Weber. I know you're extremely busy. If you have just a moment, I'll ask if there anyone who has a question or two for the Senator. Now would be a good time. Speak up, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Commissioner Scar. May I?
Certainly, go right ahead.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Senator Weber, for all that you're doing. I know that it was a crazy day yesterday. I was down in Salem for AOC and spoke with a number of legislators last night who confirmed it was a chaotic and crazy day. What I wanted to do was just offer, if you have questions or concerns relating to the housing bill and specifically how that will impact us here on the coast, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. That bill has been very carefully monitored, and in fact, AOC has had participation at that table during much of the development of that bill, and that has included the AOC planning directors, meaning Sarah Absher and her contemporaries. So I know that Sarah has combed through that bill very carefully to make sure that from a planning perspective, there are not negative unintended consequences for our communities here on the coast. So if you do end up with questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to share what we've learned.
Thank you. I've been in contact with the governor's office, and someone from her office is going to be meeting with me to talk about some of the issues that are not related to Tillamook County that are in that bill. So we'll see what happens and how it goes forward, and how the issues that will impact other counties in our region are going to maybe there may be some amendments to that bill.
Yes, and in fact, as we continue to work on it, there are amendments that we have proposed that we've not yet seen the language for, but that are being, monitored for inclusion, because there were some definite negative unintended consequences in their initial language, even though we had all been at the table leading up to it. So it is definitely a work in progress that has some issues that we are continuing to work on. So thank you very much for being aware of that bill and helping to make sure it turns out to be the right bill, because we know that's one of the key challenges. So I also wanted to thank you. I spoke with Linda Kozlowski yesterday, and I know that you have been working with the city of Manzanita relating to water for an affordable and a workforce housing project, in fact, that have been proposed up in Manzanita. And I just wanted to let you know that the Housing Commission made their recommendations this last week, and both of those project received catalyst funding from the Housing Commission, because we feel that they're absolutely critical in Tillamook County, and that getting that area of Manzanita developed will really allow for, in this case, both an affordable housing complex and a workforce housing complex. So thank you for any work and support you're doing and able to provide for them. So thank you very much.
And I'm also working towards enhancing our infrastructure. If we don't have the water and sewer, we can't do this. We can't build if we don't have those two things available. And so that is something else that I'm working diligently on.
Thank you so much. And if there's any way we can help you with information or testimony or anything, please reach out. We're with you, and so thankful for your support in that area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Any other questions for the Senator before she gets back into the thick of things over in Salem? Well, thank you so much, Senator, and we always appreciate your time, and especially when the session is underway. So let's go to Representative Javity. I don't see a number or something that aligns with him, but Representative, are you online?
I am here.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, go take it away, Representative.
Well, I'm running behind now. I'm about 15 minutes late for my committee, so I'll keep it short. I'm going to the Housing Committee. We're looking forward to that discussion more about the upcoming housing bills. We had some talks yesterday. The governor's bill is up to be discussed. It's huge, and hopefully going to get some things included there. There are some things included there for rural counties, but we're trying to get some more added into that, especially for our district. And then this afternoon, I've got economic development, where we'll be discussing, among a few topics, child care funding, especially for people who are unable to do full-time work because of the lack of child care. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then HCP-related issues as well. I was at the meeting last week with Senator Weber and former Senator Betsy Johnson, and I thought it went pretty well. I think there's obviously concerns on both sides, And yeah, I think there's a little miscommunication. I think there are people who are concerned, hey, this means, we need to stop harvesting at all from the forest, and they think the HCP is going to do that. And we're working hard to make sure people understand, hey, we're being responsible, and our partners in logging are being responsible as well. And we're just looking to make sure that we can continue to benefit from that natural resource at the same time taking care of it. And one interesting number I saw yesterday was, the state forest, if you were to, if every tree, if in the state forest were a grain of sand, it would take 117 boxcars on the train to carry all the trees we have available in our state forest. And compared to what we're harvesting, you could fit in one bottle of wine. So, we really are barely tapping into the resources that we have there. And at the current rates of regrowth as well as harvesting, it would take almost 8,000 years to completely deplete our state forest. So, kudos to our partners who do such a good job. Kudos to the environmentalists who really want to make sure we continue to take care of the resource. But we are, and the impact of these changes are going to be, unfortunately, catastrophic in some respects for parts of our community. And so we need to work together to figure out how to move forward and do what we can to be supportive of the good work that's being done. So that's really all I have time for today, but I appreciate all that you are doing there at the county. And Commissioner Olson, I am continuing to have talks about that Three Rivers Bridge, and hopefully we'll have an answer today from ODOT for you. So.
Well, thank you, Representative. I appreciate that. Do we have any questions for the representative, who also is extremely busy this week for sure? Any questions? I don't hear any or see any, so I'll thank you on behalf of all of us, Representative. You can get back to work, and we'll be in touch during the week. And thank you for all you're doing for Tillamook County and the whole northwest part of Oregon. So we'll talk with you later.
Thank you.
Thanks so
much.
much.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. We would have either Ed Colson or possibly Marlene Putman.
Yeah, Ed Colson's here, Commissioner of the Health Department.
Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, Tillamook County. Well, as we continue our weekly celebration of Heart Healthy Month, here is the Heart Healthy advice for this week. Get started early with a health screening to check your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and other vital signs. Early detection is the key for preventing heart disease. To learn more about the facts of heart disease from the CDC, which is on our Facebook page. Perhaps you may have seen it already, but we have spent the past month getting settled into our newly remodeled building, which is conveniently located next door to our Central County Clinic. This building will truly be dedicated to our community by allowing a new workspace for our outreach programs to grow. It's located at 2111 8th Street in Tillamook, and the building was transformed from 3 large working spaces now into 7 offices, a reception area, a medical exam room, a conference room, and a multi-purpose room for health education and Oregon Health Plan enrollment assistance. Some of the new services that are housed in our new building include environmental health, the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children, public health home visiting nurses and community health workers, and our other current public programs, such as Oregon Health Program or Oregon Health Plan, tobacco cessation, mobile clinic staff, harm reduction, community education and outreach, and preparedness. And now, in addition to that, the Community Health Center's first Nalox box is installed on the outside west wall of the building, which allows community members access to free life-saving opioid overdose care 24/7, including a Narcan nasal spray with instructions, CPR masks with instructions, and community resources on hope and recovery. This box is refilled weekly as needed. So please read more on our newly remodeled building and our press release, which is on our website, and come join us for a ribbon-cutting ceremony, which will happen in late March or early April. More details to come. Lastly, school exclusion dates for immunizations. The Oregon immunization exclusion date is coming up, and that's on February 21st, 2024. All children in Oregon's public and private schools, preschools, Head Start, and certified child care facilities must have up-to-date documentation on their required immunizations or have an exemption by February 21st. School Exclusion Day. If parents and caregivers do not provide these records to their child's school by February 21st, the child will be sent home unless they have an exemption. Parents seeking immunizations for their children or anyone else may stop by our all-ages vaccine clinic on Sunday, February 18th from noon to 4 p.m. at our main clinic located at 801 Pacific Avenue in Tillamook. This is a walk-in clinic. No appointments are needed. All childhood and most adult vaccines will be available, and eligibility will vary by age and vaccine. Vaccines are covered benefit from many health insurance plans, and no one can be turned away from a local health department because of the inability to pay for required vaccines. Letters from our office have gone out in regard to the School Exclusion Day. If you're unable to make the event and still need immunizations for your children, please contact your pediatrician or call our public health nurse line 503-842-3940 or dial 211 for more local resources. And with that, Commissioner, that's our update with the Health Department.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions for Ed or anything regarding our local health center? I don't hear any, so let's go on to Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail Nelson, are you with us this morning?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
No announcements for us here in Wheeler. We continue to have our pharmacy hours from 9 to 5:30. We're open during lunch. And our clinic is open from 8 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. And I wish everybody a happy Tuesday. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Always good to hear from your end of the county. All right, let's go to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hanna Williams, are you with us this morning, Frank?
Good morning. I am with you. This is Frank Hanna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. I don't have a specific area to hit in my conversation here this morning, but I do want to say that a couple things. Number one, if you have questions, concerns regarding any of our services, questions about appointments, you can reach us at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. I do want to welcome a new staff person who just started yesterday. Her name is Sarah Ermer, and Sarah is our new prevention coordinator. Sarah comes to us from the Corvallis area and has relocated here in Tillamook County, and she has a number of things that she will be able to share and offer with the community. She's just going to take a few weeks to kind of get her feet wet and understand the landscape of health and health services. But I see Sarah as someone who will have a tremendous amount to contribute to the community. So again, I want to welcome our new prevention coordinator, and if you have any questions for me now, I can take them.
Any questions for Frank? Don't hear any or see anybody, so I'm going to say no questions this morning, and thank you very much for your report. So let's move on to the Sheriff's Office. I believe Sheriff Brown is not available, but under Sheriff Kelly or someone else from that office, anybody from the Sheriff's Office this morning? Well, going once, going twice, I guess not. So let's go down to emergency management, and I know Randy's on because I see his number, and I know he's also got a fair amount of information to share with us all this morning. So Randy, take it away.
Good morning, Commissioner. Well, to start off with, this is our week of our last of the king tides for this winter season here. They're due to come in on the 8th and run through the 10th. And the other thing going on with that is that the tides have, I don't know if you noticed, have been running about a foot and even higher than a foot more than normal. So if you happen to be living in any areas that do experience any flooding from high tides, definitely be prepared and get ready, because I think that the coast will see some coastal flooding due to the high tides that are going to happen with this, with the king tides coming in. Luckily, the atmospheric river is well to the south of us, so we dodged that one pretty well, which is a good thing for Tillamook County. And of course, because of the higher tides and the king tides coming in, we have a pretty high possibility of those pesky little sneaker waves starting up again. So if you happen to be a beach goer, be extremely careful when you're down enjoying our wonderful beaches here on the Tillamook County coast. We're supposed to be getting rain all week long, usually about 1/4 inch or less per day, so we should be all right for any types of flooding due to excessive rain. Forecast for the rivers is that they will behave themselves and they will stay below below action stage. The other news that I've been getting from my contacts with Oregon Emergency Management is that all the preliminary damage assessments for the ice storm have been submitted into the governor. Our little county here had a little over 600,000 in damages that we could attribute to that ice storm. And I guess good news, bad news, excuse me, is that preliminary estimate statewide is around $56 million. And so that well puts us above the $8 million threshold, which would allow our governor to submit for a presidential declaration for the state. I know that she's going to be doing that. The particulars of exactly what she's going to be asking in that declaration haven't been made public yet, because she can ask for different things in that presidential declaration. And so hopefully we'll be getting some preliminary information on what she's going to be asking for. With that, I just know that they said that some additional documentation packets are going to start being sent out to collect some more accurate damage assessments, because the first go around was kind of that high level assessment. And so as soon as those get out, we'll make sure that all the entities that receive damages will be able to start filling out the next round of those forms. So like I said, that was a good news, bad news. We hate to see $56 million worth of damage statewide, but luckily it was allowed us to let the governor go ahead and start doing her request for a presidential declaration here for the state. So anyway, enjoy the partly cloudy day today, and of course, again, be careful if you're going to be down those beaches with those high tides and those little sneaker waves coming up behind you. And that's all I have for today, Commissioner.
All right, thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy? Well, we appreciate your being on top of all the difficulties we had during our storms, and $56 million is a lot of money. And hopefully the feds will open the checkbook and we'll get some relief across Oregon. Well, thanks again, Randy. All right, on the first Tuesday of the month, we have an individual from the Oregon Department of Transportation, Bill Jablonski, and I'm wondering, are you with us this morning, Bill?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner Olson. I am here.
Good morning. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner Olson. Nice to meet you over the phone, and hope to meet with you in person, one day soon.
Thursday, I'll be at the meeting, the Northwest ACT meeting. We'll take a visit a little.
Sounds good. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Again, Bill Jablonski. I'm with the Oregon Department of Transportation. I'm the area manager here located in Astoria. I've been in the area now for 22 years, so very pleased that Tillamook invites me to come once a month and to do a little update on what's going on. The first thing I'd like to say is, who's ready for spring? I know that I am. With all the slides and the flooding and the ice, we're certainly at capacity here at the agency in our local area here on meeting the needs for everyone to be able to get to their destination safely. So I'm all for spraying, if anyone else is as well too. Just a little update. I sound like a broken record. I'm sure I come on here every month, but the 5 active design projects we have on Oregon 6 are still ongoing. We have a number of projects that are there to help with safety and also help with some of our existing infrastructure. For example, some of our bridges that need to be, coated or painted, that type of maintenance work that we do, those are in the line as well too. So over the next couple of years, we're going to see some active construction projects here along Oregon 6, in which we'll have certainly significant outreach from both Washington County and Tillamook County as far as what those projects entail, whatever kind of closures or traffic type of delays we might expect as we're doing paving jobs up there, or even some repairs on the highway as well too. We'll let all the communities know that. I do want to say that we do have this nice Oregon 6 study that was completed last year with the help of, then Senator Weber, but now, or Representative Weber, but now Senator Weber. So it's ODOT's task to try and find funding for some of those packages. And as federal opportunities open up with Senator Wyden and Merkley's offices, I've been talking to those reps around the, we have the Community Initiated Projects Grant is one that's been coming out. So and trying to get some feedback on those grants, on how whether or not these packages would compete nicely at the federal level with those. Certainly, we'd need some letters of support from Washington and Tillamook County and our elected folks as well too, if we were to go forward with any of these grants to help out with some of those very expensive packages that are identified in that Oregon 6 study. So certainly looking forward to bird dogging that for both communities in Washington and Tillamook County as well. Other projects we have in Tillamook County under design, we have 2 on US 101. One is the Nadonna Creek culvert replacement just north of Rockaway. That's in the very early stages of design, looking for ways to incorporate what the fix would be with the Port of Tillamook Bay rail line that runs adjacent to the highway. The other active project, which is going to go to construction this summer, is in Garibaldi. That's our urban design project, meant to rebuild 101 from streets 1st through 10th Street in Garibaldi. So we're looking forward to that bidding here this April, and then construction starting here this summer as well. Again, more public outreach and communication on traffic and staging and nighttime work, all that is still pending and coming. Once we get a contractor on board and we find out what their schedule is, we'll certainly let everyone know and work to accommodate people's needs. We know it's a busy time at the coast on 101, and 101 is the route that everyone takes. We're pretty shy in having redundant routes where people can actually move around our project site, so we're a little familiar with that, and we also build in time to allow for that as well too. What else do I have to update you on? So I'm also working with Tillamook County and our ODOT planner, who is working with getting a contract for the transportation system update for Tillamook County. We hope to get a consultant on board this spring to help with that effort. My area planner has let me know that they're looking forward to an extensive outreach and reassessing the needs of many unincorporated areas in Tillamook County. A large part of Tillamook is made up of unincorporated areas and the needs that they have. So part of that transportation system plan update will include the reassessing of those needs in those areas with a very broad and vast public outreach on that effort as well too. So again, looking forward to kicking that off here this spring with Chris Lady and any of the commissioners and folks within Tillamook County who will be invited to participate on that as well. I can also report that I did receive confirmation that the Federal Highway Administration has approved the $7 million for help with assistance on the projects of the communities that were impacted by the early December 5th storms that caused damage to Sand Lake Road and also to the existing culvert on Miami Foley. I'm working with Public Works, Tillamook County Public Works, Chris Laity, on getting the funds lined up and ready to be used and spent for Tillamook County to get consultants and contractors on board for those permanent repairs. So looking forward to that effort on that as well too. And with that, I'll pause to see if there's any questions, and that would conclude my update for this month.
Thank you so much. Questions for Bill? I don't see any, but I'll thank you on behalf of the county for what ODOT has done, because you're certainly a player, and I particularly appreciate the efforts on Sand Lake, since I lived down that way and used to take that road every day until it fell into the ocean. But it will be fixed. We all know that. It's just a matter of time and money. So we appreciate your efforts and appreciate what's going on elsewhere in the county. And certainly you're welcome to come on anytime when you have something to report in addition to your monthly report. So
Okay.
Thanks again.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, there's only two of us this morning, so I'll ask Commissioner Scar, what would you like to add to the mix this morning?
Thank you, Mr. Chair today, Mr. Vice Chair. Couple of different things that have happened, and then some things that I will be heading off to. So last week was our Housing Commission meeting, in which the Housing Commission reviewed at a summary level the 8 proposals that had been received for housing and crafted a recommendation that will come before the Board of Commissioners in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to give you all a little preview of what will be coming in front of the commissioners. There were 8 projects that applied for funding in our multifamily rental housing fund round, and we had about 4 to give away all of that money as we incentivize and assist developers in building housing here in the previous round for pre-development. So they had already received some funding to help catalyze the project, and both now have applied for construction funding. And both of these projects are in Bay City, and they are both duplex communities, if you will. So there's one that is right across from the Bay City Arts Center. Many of you may have seen that. If you have not, drive up to Bay City and take a loop through downtown. You will see Seagull's Rest, which is a group of duplexes that will be 24 units, I believe, 12 units, 6 buildings. So fabulous little development that is actually quite a ways underway. So we were pleased to recommend funding for that project, as well as on Hobsonville. There's a project there that, again, pre-development, and now is getting closer to construction. So we awarded some funding there, and again, that is duplexes, which is a really nice way in our small communities to bring some density without having to have large apartment buildings. I know that the character of our communities is very important to our residents, and not all areas are appropriate for large apartment buildings, but we do need density, we do need rentals that are affordable, and these will be workforce housing. So it's a great opportunity. There were also 2 smaller projects, both of which are, one of them is in construction and one of them is in pre-development. There are 4 units upstairs of the T-Mobile store in downtown Tillamook that are in construction right now, and we're excited about those 4 units. Adding density in the urban core of Tillamook is definitely a priority, and one of the ways that we can help solve this crisis. Additionally, there is a project in pre-development in Rockaway Beach that would bring 4 housing units above a commercial endeavor. So very excited about that one. Then the 2 next ones are big projects. They are ones that are, one of them is an affordable housing project. It will make use of the state typical affordable housing funds, and we were happy to fund them what is considered a catalyst grant, which is the local community saying, we believe in this project, we see the need for this project, and it gives them points on their applications with the state of Oregon. So it's very important. This is up in Manzanita. And immediately adjacent to that in Manzanita is a workforce housing project that we also gave catalyst funds to, that would sort of create a new neighborhood, if you will, in Manzanita that is a mixed income neighborhood. So very excited about all of those projects. And again, they will come before the county commissioners in the next couple of weeks. I'll let you know the date once it gets on our agenda. In case you're interested in learning a little bit more about the projects, we will have our housing commissioner or our housing coordinator, Parker Salmons, with us to talk about each of them so that you can learn a little more. But that is exciting. And when people say, are we doing anything about housing in Tillamook County? Is anything happening? The answer is yes. There's a lot happening, and we're very excited about the number of developers who are emerging in Tillamook County from local folks who are working to add housing, as well as seasoned developers coming in from outside and seeing that Tillamook County is a place that they can and want to build. So lots of good work happening there. Second thing that I will talk about, yesterday, actually Friday, I spent online all day with the Association of Oregon Counties, different committees looking at legislative concepts and legislative bills that had been released, just to make sure that our voices are heard in relation to county impacts on bills that are in front of the legislature. So that was Friday, and actually yesterday, a part of my day as well was spent reviewing those additional bills and putting into our county voice. So the Association of Oregon Counties looks for bills that have a county nexus and then provides either a support, an oppose, or a neutral, and those are then conveyed to the legislators. So as legislators are looking at bills and determining the impacts, both positive, negative, intended and unintended, having a position from the Association of Oregon Counties is basically a stamp of approval or opposition from 36 counties. So it's a really important voice, and it carries a significant amount of impact. So I'm pleased to be a part of that work, and we will continue to monitor those bills and stay very active. Personally, I am a co-chair of the Transportation and Community Development Committee, so I will be staying in touch with those bills most deeply and continuing to provide both opinions and testimony throughout this very fast-moving short session. Also yesterday, we had a reception at the Association of Oregon Counties at the end of our working day and had the opportunity to meet with different legislators, different heads of departments at state agencies, different staffers for legislators, just to kind of have those conversations on a more personal note. I had the opportunity to sit with Representative Pham, who is one of the leaders of the Transportation Committee, and talk about the transportation bills that are up, and more importantly, the transportation package that will be built for the 25 session. We expect the large transportation package. If Bill Jablonski is here with me still, I'm sure that he is actively working toward that project as well. One of the key pieces that they will be looking at in that transportation package is how we fund our transportation. And currently, we use gas tax for a significant portion of that, and with cars becoming more efficient and more electric vehicles on the road, we are seeing less gas tax overall, and it's time to really open that funding mechanism and say, what are we going to do? How will we continue to fund our roads as we move toward the world that we want to see with more efficient vehicles? So excited to be a part of that conversation, and the opportunity to connect yesterday with Representative Pham was very important. A couple other things that have happened recently. The county is working on our strategic plan. I think we may have mentioned this on other calls. We are working on our mission, vision, and values statements right now internally. We have previously done a process with the Futures Council to get a lot of feedback from our community about what's important. We're now in the process of bringing together those two pieces of work, our internal work and our community work, into a strategic plan for the county. So we are moving forward and hope to have some documents ready to sort of start to see the light of day by probably May. So just kind of give you all a heads up, that work is underway, and it's exciting and fun work for us to do. A couple of things coming up that I just want to mention. I will be part of a presentation at COLPAC, which is the Columbia Pacific Economic Development District, this Thursday, to talk about the Habitat Conservation Plan. You heard our legislators talk about it already. We've been talking about it a lot, and this will be looking at the impacts to Tillamook County. We will have presenters at that meeting with impacts for Columbia, Clatsop, and Western Washington counties as well, because that organization covers all of those. And that meeting is open to the public. If anybody would like to listen in, you can get that link on the website for for COLPAC, Columbia Pacific Economic Development District. Also coming up for me, I will be heading out to Washington, D.C. To attend the National Association of Counties Conference for the next few days. I leave on Friday, and it's a great opportunity to meet with staff from different federal agencies. I will be seeking out HUD to talk about housing, be seeking out DEQ, seeking out FEMA, others to continue to talk about issues that are happening. I'm sorry, EPA, not DEQ. EPA and FEMA to talk about other issues that impact us here in Tillamook County that we want to make sure FEMA is aware of and is hearing about and listening to our perspective. We'll also be looking at funding coming out of the federal government. As we know, we've got a couple of bills that have been passed that the funding is slowly trickling from the federal government to state agencies for distribution at the county level. So we'll be learning about a lot of those different funding opportunities to make sure we maximize what comes to Tillamook County out of all of that work. Okay, I had asked Treasurer Blanchard if there was something she would like me to share this morning as we are heading into budget season. And I think we talked last week about the budget committee dates, and we talked about the fact that it was time to appoint some new budget committee members from the community. We had Commissioner Olson obviously move into being a commissioner, so as a community member, he needed to be replaced on the budget committee, and we had 2 others resign last year. So we're excited to announce that we have selected Ken Henson, Michael Weisenfluh, and MJ Basti as the members to serve on our budget committee. The voice of our community members is extremely important in this committee. As county commissioners, we know the budget in a deep way. We know the departments in a deep way, but it's really important that we hear from our community members in relation to the budget. And these 3 individuals will be bringing voice to the community as part of our budget process. So again, congratulations and thank you, very big thank you to Ken Henson, Michael Weisenfluh, and MJ Basti for their willingness to serve on the county budget committee. With that, Mr. Chair, I will turn it back to you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any questions for Commissioner Scar? Well, I don't see any very complete report, so I'll just add a couple of things from my part. I will also be at the COPAC meeting this Thursday, followed by the Northwest Area Commission on Transportation, and that turns into an all-day session, but a lot of effective people are in the room that can make things happen, and that's how a lot of business gets done. Second thing I'll mention, I believe Senator Wyden, our United States Senator, will be in Tillamook on Saturday at the Port of Tillamook Bay at 4 p.m. At the Officers' Mess. You may or may not agree with Senator Wyden, but you will have to give him credit for showing up. He's been in Tillamook County and other town halls across the state on numerous occasions. I think the last one here was probably maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. But if you'd like to get his ear, and you usually have an opportunity to offer comments or ask a question or two, you just show up 4 o'clock on Saturday, this coming Saturday at the Port of Tillamook Bay. The last thing I'll mention, today we have our chamber in South County, and we'll have a presentation from Tillamook Bay Community College and Dr. Tomlin about the nursing school and the program, which has already started. You may recall that voters approved a bond measure, I think around $14 million, and there was another $8 million or so that came from the state of Oregon, and put the money together. There will be a new building, a nursing school, constructed over the next several years on the campus of TVCC. And that's a big deal because nurses are in high demand across America, and especially here in Tillamook County. And I understand about half the students who have enrolled, and the classes have already started, half of them are from Tillamook County. So there's an effort to grow our own, so to speak, and when they graduate, no doubt they'll have a job within hours of getting their diploma. So that's underway, and they're going to talk about that today, show some drawings, and by the way, there's also a plan to take some of the parking at the fairgrounds and turn it into baseball fields. And that would be adjacent to the college, and that will be able to enhance the baseball programs for young folks here in Tillamook County. And that will not affect the parking at the fair because they can remove a backstop or otherwise open it up. So no change in the parking at our wonderful fair, but we're going to add some baseball fields, or rather the YMCA together with the college and the fair will add these fields. So that's on the horizon, and that should be done by baseball season this year. So finally, I'll just say about Dr. Tomlin, this is his last week. He is retiring after 7 years here in Tillamook County and as president of the college, and it's a well-earned requirement, and he's done a lot of good things here. I've known him since the day he arrived, and one of the flagstone will be the nursing school, and he had a large part of making that happen, of getting the money from the state and encouraging voters to consider favorably the bond measure before them. So he'll be at the chamber today, which is at Meg's, which is a restaurant at the four-way stop. And the reason that there's not a meeting at the Kiowanda Community Center today is that there's a movie being filmed in South County, some kind of a horror movie, and it involves a police station. And the police station is now the Kiowanda Community Center, and the folks from California, Hollywood in particular, have brought a couple of truckloads of props up, and the Kiowanda Community Center looks for all the world like a 1958 police station. If you're down that way, you ought to see it. It is really interesting. So with that, I will stop talking and move on to our cities, because we've got some of them online, I'm sure. So let's go to Manzanita. Do we have Linda Kozlowski or Leah Amon, or who's with us from Manzanita? Well, I don't hear anyone from Manzanita. How about Nehalem? Wheeler? Rockaway Beach. We usually have somebody from Rockaway Beach. Mayor McNeely?
Good morning, Tillamook County. Yes, this is Charles McNeely, the mayor of Rockaway Beach, and echo other people's comments. This is a great forum, and I have in my community been encouraging people to listen to it, to learn about what's going on in our great county. So just a couple of items, or a handful of items this morning. Rockaway Beach received a $75,000 grant for our Anchor Street Playground project from Visit Tillamook, and my hat's off to our city planner, Mary Johnson, for her work on procuring this grant. FEMA, I'm told, provided a letter to the Oregon Department of Land Conservation and Development stating that the Tillamook County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan is approvable, provided that local jurisdictions adopt it. Adoption of the plan will ensure that Rockaway Beach is eligible for federal funding of emergency management projects like our High Ground projects. We'll be discussing this at a council meeting in March or April. Again, our city planner, Mary Johnson, met with the Oregon Marine Board about funding opportunities and technical assistance with our Lake Lytle Park project, one of our keystone projects in our city. And thanks to the county for leasing us the Lake Lytle boat launch area. I also am excited about the housing project, as was mentioned by Commissioner Scar. A project did receive funding from the Tillamook County Multi-Housing Grant Program, and we're looking forward to that project getting off the ground. And then last but not least, let me share my hope that we get recreational immunity back during the short session. And with that, back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for Mayor McNeely? All right, Garibaldi, do we have anyone on from the city of Garibaldi?
Yeah. We got Katie Finley here. So it's a pretty light next week or two, but we do have March 4th through March 10th, we'll be holding our very first annual Coast Guard Week. That's going to be acknowledging the Coast Guard's importance to Garibaldi, and it'll be held in conjunction with the 37th annual crab races that weekend. And it includes a schedule of events like the Enlisted Person of the Year, and we are hoping to be able to schedule with the Rear Admiral up in Seattle, because we did just receive our official acknowledgement of becoming a Coast Guard city with the federal government. So we are the 34th city in America to become a Coast Guard city, which is very exciting. And then on the Wednesday, February 21st, after the Business Association meeting, we will be having a Garibaldi Days workshop. That is all of the updates from me.
Okay, thank you very much. By virtue of being a Coast Guard city, what exactly does that bring to Garibaldi?
Oh, it's a good tourism thing. It's an acknowledgement of the collaboration and the partnership that we have with our Coast Guard, and it gives it like a stamp of approval from the official Coast Guard powers that be.
Well, good. Well, I know that's been a large part of Garibaldi and Tillamook County for many years, so thank you. Okay, Bay City, do we have Mayor Welch or someone from Bay City?
Good morning. This is Leanne Welch, Mayor of Bay City. And I would like to share that Bay City's regular city council meeting is Tuesday, February 13th at 6 p.m. We will have our agendas posted by this Thursday online, which will also include the second public hearing of our development code update. So Bay City's been working on this for several years and coming to the conclusion. And I would also like to thank the Housing Commission for their support of the 2 workforce housing projects here in Bay City. So if there's any other questions, I'd like to turn it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to hear from you again. Okay, Tillamook, we usually have Nathan George, the city manager, and I saw him last night at the city council meeting. So are you there, Mr. Manager?
Good morning, Commissioner. You hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Go right ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So, yes, first of all, I want to thank you for coming. I know when I first started here, Commissioner Yamamoto, Commissioner Bell, Commissioner Scar came to meet with me and our council, and we really appreciate you coming last night, so thank you very much. Also, wanted to just go over quickly on our agenda last night for the council meeting. The council is going to, the city staff will advertise for a temporary appointment for Ward 6. This is a temporary appointment in Ward 6, where Doug Henson is typically in there. So we'll be advertising for that, and be at least 2 weeks, and anybody who lives in Ward 6 is welcome to apply to basically send in a letter of interest for appointment to the council. Also, we had requests to approve a water leak protection. So the council approved last night a water leak protection, which is service, which is through HomeServe, which is the same company that does the lateral line warranties. So what this means is that everyone in the community will have the opportunity to be a part of it if they want. If they don't want, they can opt out, and we'll be getting more information out there. But essentially, it is for $1.81, you have up to $2,500 coverage of your home if you have a water leak, and that the company, which is under HomeServe, which is called ServLine, will pay up to $2,500 per leak on a rolling calendar once a year. So they'll pay the city for the revenue and the lost revenue, and then the customer doesn't have to pay it. They just simply pay their warranty. Also, along with that, council approved for those who are participating in the program, there'll be $1 more that they'll get to have on their water bill or their utilities bill, and then that will go, half of that, 50 cents of that will go into a revolving fund for sewer repairs for residences, and half of that will go, 50 cents of that will go into a revolving fund for water repairs for residents. So, and then they will build it up, and that will be a program we'll put in place to allow residents. The council hasn't approved an actual program yet. It'd be somewhere lines of possibly a match or a interest-free loan or something to help out help out the customers with their water and sewer line problems. Also, there was a request, and this is from me, so I'll just be really high level about this, but there was a request from the city manager to have an amendment to the contract to put the salary within a competitive rate, compare with other city managers in the state, and also to lengthen out the contract a little bit longer in case of being terminated without cause. So, and that request was denied by the council. The second was the second reading on an ordinance regulating shopping carts in the city of Tillamook and adoption, and that was approved and adopted. So what that means, and we'll be putting out more information on our website, getting more information out, especially to the businesses. But what that means is if you have a shopping cart, that we need to put a little sign on there that tells you where it needs to be called to return the shopping cart. There's also various regulations. If someone is taking a shopping cart, they will now be charged for theft. And then stores are responsible to pick up their shopping carts. If they don't, then the city will store them, and there's different regulations about potentially just disposing of them if necessary. So it's really a great ordinance. It'll be really helpful to our community, and the council had requested it, and now they've approved it, and now it'll go into effect 30 days from last night. So also had lots of great comments by the council. Council will be having a work session on March 4th, a month from now, and we'll be discussing sewer lateral lines discussion, and of course that'll be an open meeting. Everyone's welcome to attend. Council wants to entertain the thought of what it would be for the city to take over the private side of the lateral lines for residents. Not the full private side, but from the connection to the property line. Currently in Oregon, most places, it's from the connection line of the street all the way to the residence, the home is what a resident's responsible for. And there are a few cities that don't do it that way, and the council wants to explore the options of what it would be to take over that. So, in the police department, Executive Larson and Lieutenant Troxel had attended a public relations meeting hosted by the Tillamook PUD. This group is working on ensuring we have consistent, reliable communications during emergencies and other community events, so we want to thank the TPUD for hosting. Lieutenant Troxel attended a meeting with the District Attorney Olson, Lieutenant Trucker, and Sergeant Gordon with the OSP, and Chief Arthur Manzanilla. They missed Sheriff Brown, but had great discussion on recent cases, case law, and staffing. These meetings are important to ensure consistency and communication between all law enforcement agencies in Tillamook County. Executive Assistant Larson, Lieutenant Troxel, Sergeant Harrell, and Sergeant Hollis, and our city planner, Megan Carpenter, all met to discuss the onboarding and training of our new code enforcement officer once they are hired. And so the city is currently taking applications and will be interviewing soon. As you may have remembered, our previous code enforcement officer, Officer Debbie Coleman, has retired, and she was honored at the council meeting last month. And so now we have currently a position available for a code enforcement officer, and we are taking applications and received many. We're excited about the opportunities. Lieutenant Troxel attended the opioid use reduction team meeting. Our Tillamook R, which is OUR, which stands for Opioid Use Reduction. Tillamook has been around for several years and works towards reducing opioid use. What we are doing with this team supports our response to overdoses. This work provides us with the tools to ensure we can help those in need with direct referral and care. And the League of Oregon Cities came to Bay City, and provided a guided discussion with other cities in the area in Tillamook County. Lieutenant Troxel and Councilor Torres attended. This is a great opportunity to highlight the good the city of Tillamook is doing and listen to other cities report on different topics. And the Public Works Department, the Streets Division, is gearing up for a proactive phase of routine maintenance, embodying and commitment to the community's well-being and the city's sustainability. Our dedicated team will be engaged in various tasks, including sweeping streets using specialized street sweeper, filling potholes to ensure smooth and safe roadways, and diligently maintaining local parks to enjoy residents. Throughout these endeavors, the safety of our employees and the preservation of our equipment remain paramount considerations. We take pride in our hard work and recognize its crucial role in upholding the aesthetic appeal, functionality, and sustainability of our city. Your cooperation and understanding during these maintenance activities contribute to overall enhancement of our community's quality of life. And in our water distribution division, the city is carrying out the essential task of pulling routine monthly water samples to guarantee the purity and safety of our drinking water. A lot of people don't realize they actually go to different parts of the city and test that frequently. They undertake this crucial responsibility to ensure that every drop of water is delivered to our community meets the highest standard of cleanliness and quality. Their dedication underscores commitment to safeguarding public health and providing residents with confidence in the water they rely on for daily consumption. And fun fact, did you know the water on Earth today is the same water existed thousands of years ago? When you turn on the faucet, the water flowing out may contain molecules dinosaurs once drank or navigators may have sailed across the ocean with. Water undergoes a continuous cycle of evaporation, precipitation, runoff, ensuring that the same water has been circulating on our planet since the beginning of our planet. So, also wanted to mention the city put together a little highlighted successes and achievements for 2023, and I'm not going to go through all this because it's several pages, but that has been provided to Headlight Herald. They may run a article, I don't know, but it'll also be available on our website. And just a couple of quick things I wanted to highlight. We've been able to hire a lot of outstanding employees who've really brought a lot of knowledge and expertise to the city. As you may be aware, we have multiple projects. We appreciate all those of our representatives, Commissioner Scar, all the county commissioners, our Representative Javi, Senator Weber, and many others who are working on getting grants and helping us out. One of the things that we are working on is similar to the county, not quite at the same magnitude, but we will be having a meeting coming up in the next couple of months to have a planning and goal session and vision strategy discussion with the council, which will be very helpful. As far as housing, I know Commissioner Scar talked about housing this morning, and it's very, very important. One of the things that people don't always realize is the infrastructure it takes to have housing, and so unfortunately the city has been in a situation for decades where it has not had good infrastructure. So we're working really hard to resolve that, but it is a process, and it takes time and it takes money, and that is something that is, we have time, we don't have a lot of money, but time can be difficult. We have so many things wanting to happen, but we are here. We appreciate everyone's work. We're working forward to try to get those things corrected, which will take some time. We update all of our job descriptions, which have been not updated since the 1990s. We now will be having a new website come online. We've adopted our the council, adopted sewer lateral ordinance enforcement. In the past, the residents only had 60 days to inspect and fix their lateral lines. They now have 6 months to inspect their lateral lines, and they'll have an additional 6 months to repair. And if they file an appeal, but then they meet the qualifications, they could have up to an additional 6 months on top of that, to potentially up to 18 months to get those things taken care of. So significant difference. Plus, we also have now at the point of sale for any property, the property owners are required to have the sewer lines inspected and then fixed if possible. Inspected and then fixed if necessary. And that's a huge win, because that really helps out the people buying homes, so they know that they're getting good a good value, or not as far as getting an actual fixed lateral line if it's a problem. So a lot of things coming up in the future. Very excited about it. Also wanted to just state that once again we have positions available. We always ask people to take a look online or visit if they're interested, and if there are any situations or emergency, please call 911 or call dispatch for non-emergency. And Commissioner, that's all I had today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nathan. Good to hear from you. So I noticed Under Sheriff Kelly just came up on the screen, and we didn't hear from the Sheriff's Office. Under Sheriff Kelly, would you like to address anything this morning? We'll give you a moment or two if you can.
Sorry, Commissioner, I don't have anything to report. Thank you, though.
Nothing to report. Okay. So last but not least is South County, and I'm not sure we have a representative from there. I've been working on an individual, and may be able to catch up with her yet today and see if we can get someone, because as most people know, there are about 6,000 people live in South Tillamook County, including all communities of Nescowan and Pacific City, Sand Lake, Ebo, Cloverdale, Beaver, and a few more. So it's important to hear from those folks. So we'll keep working on that. So if there's nothing else, I think we've gone through the entire agenda. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 9:08 a.m. and thanks to KTIL for broadcasting and everyone there. We are adjourned.